Hello, it's Lynn Watts here with Wyatt the Wonder Dog Books, and today I want to share three picture books with you that I think would be great to use with a child that might be experiencing separation anxiety. Before I get started with that, though, let me just remind you to subscribe and like or share or both my videos so that more people will find them. So the first book that I want to share with you is called Owl Babies. You can see the pictures of the owls. There's three of them that are babies. It's written by Martin Waddell, Waddell. And this particular book has nothing to do with school. The other two books I share will. And of course, many times as school counselors, we run into separation anxiety as children don't want to leave their parent or parents to come to school. And the other two books have to do with that. This one in particular, though, just deals with having a mom who is away for whatever reason. Of course, in this case, they're owls. And so they are together one evening and they wake up and realize that their mother is gone. Now, of course, being owls, they are nocturnal. So it's not unusual that if she was going to be gone, she would be gone at night. But they immediately started thinking a lot about where she could be, what could be going on, why she's not there. And one of the apparently older owls says, I think she's gone hunting to get us food. But then there's the smaller owl named Bill who is just wants his mommy. He doesn't really care why she's gone. So the story basically progresses with them kind of hanging around, thinking of things, where could she be, what's going on, what will she bring back for us? Meanwhile, Bill just wants his mommy. And so, just about the time they are beginning to think um, she's never coming back, this has been an awfully long time that she's been gone. She flies in, and they are all very excited, of course. And the owls say things like, I knew it, I knew you were coming back. And Bill, of course, says he loves his mama. So, the basic theme of this book simply is that there will be times when your significant other, your mom, won't be there, and that you can count on her coming back. And then, of course, you could certainly go into some of the feelings that they have and the ways they reassure themselves during that time when she is missing. The next book that I want to talk about is called The Kissing Hand. This one is written by Audrey Penn, Penn. It does have to do with a little raccoon who is about to go off to school and who thinks he doesn't really want to do that. He'd rather stay home. He'd rather play with his toys, read his books, wants to stay home with his mom. And so she deals with that by saying, first of all, sometimes we all have to do things that we don't want to do, even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you will love school once you start. So she kind of acknowledges his feelings that he has, and then she goes on to help him anticipate what he will experience at school. She goes through a lot of the things that he will enjoy, and then she finally says, I'm going to tell you a secret. I will go ahead and spoiler alert here, tell you what the secret is. She says it's a very old secret. She learned it from her mother, and it's called The Kissing Hand, hence the name of the book, right? So she gives him a kiss right in the palm of his hand, tells him to close his fingers to keep that kiss tight and with him at all times. And whenever he is feeling lonely or missing her, he can take his hand, put it up against his face, and he can feel the warmth of her kiss. It turns out to be a very reassuring sign for him. He does go to school. He uses the kiss. He feels warm inside. And I will say, just before he leaves, he does a surprising thing, which I'm not going to spoil the surprise for, but you will love it. And it's a nice way to end the story. So, The Kissing Hand, really a very nicely well done book. I'd really encourage you to use that, especially since it has a sign, a symbol, a action that you could then encourage a child and a parent to take. The last book I want to tell you about is Llama Llama Mrs. Mama. And this one is done in a rhyme. It does start out with the baby llama getting ready to go to school. So it goes through all the routine of that, eating breakfast, getting to school, meeting new kids, hanging up the coat, saying goodbye. And then once mom leaves, the baby llama feels alone. And at least initially, he criticizes and doesn't much like anything that's going on. He doesn't see anything he wants to do. He doesn't want to read a book. He doesn't want to build a castle. He doesn't want to make new friends. And he misses his mom. So eventually, what happens after he has a few tears? The teacher says to him, "Don't be sad. It's okay to miss your mom." So there's a validation of his feelings. But don't forget, when the day is through, she'll come right back to you. And so some of the other students encourage him to go play. They play outside and goes through several things that they do. And he's actually having quite a good time and not even thinking about his mom when she shows up. He says, "You came back," says goodbye to his teacher, to his friends, um, and he has obviously a lot to say, a lot to tell his mother about his day at school. And he finds out something new, that he does still love his mama, but he loves school also. So it, of course, ends on a happy note where he is looking forward to going back to school, but it talks about some and acknowledges some of the feelings that a student might experience with starting school. But it also talks about how once he becomes involved in what's going on at school, he's very happy there. So those are three really, I think, great books for talking about separation anxiety, helping a child work through those. I also have another video that I've made just about separation anxiety with a lot of tips that you could share with a parent who has a child that's experiencing that. So I hope you'll take a look at that as well. As always, thanks so much for the difference that you make in children's lives, and thanks so much for listening.